Hello, welcome to the first of my re-reviews, which is basically just a series where I'm going to do another review, a second review of movies I've already reviewed. Usually ones that my opinion's changed on, or I've got something new to say about it. Maybe not all the time. I might just be doing it because I've preferred doing it through the camera since, and I think some of my older videos limit the viewers because they are hard to watch because the audio is not quite right, and just seeing pictures is a little boring. So I want to re-review a few, and I might delete the old ones as well, just to keep it fresh and also make room because I don't want to have too many videos. Okay, so I'm going to start with Zodiac, which was directed in 2007 by David Fincher, who's one of my absolute favourite directors of all time. So many of his movies are absolute favourites of mine. Basically, as you know, I think I've said before, my DVD collection goes in themes, and one of them is David Fincher movies. I just think he's fantastic. I mean, movies like Seven, which I think still is best in my opinion, Fight Club, Curious Case, Panic Room was good, The Game, brilliant movies. And of course Zodiac. Now, Zodiac basically obviously tells the story of the Zodiac killer, and we follow this guy Graysmith, who is a cartoonist, and basically for this newspaper, and he gets caught up in it and he wants to find out who the killer is and blah blah blah, and it's more of a kind of a psychological study of somebody who's obsessed. And then you've got absolutely stellar amazing supporting performances by Mark Ruffalo and Robert Downey Jr. were just absolutely brilliant in the film, and the three of them together, the three roles, just make some of the best movie performances I've ever seen. I honestly think Mark Ruffalo and Downey Jr. should have been nominated for supporting Oscar nominations. Okay, so some of the things I absolutely love about this movie. Visually, obviously, apart from the performances I mentioned, I'll go more into those later. Visually, I think it's one of the best looking films ever. Love the kind of 70s look it has to it and all that, really great. And also what I think is really good, and I think doesn't get mentioned enough, is you have your James Camerons and your Steven Spielbergs that are blazing apparently through the future of digital filmmaking and technology and all that, you know, to make these movies. And then I think you have Fincher, who's quietly making leaps and bounds himself. I mean, you look at Curious Case of Benjamin Button and what he did there for visual effects. You look at Zodiac and how he uses visual and digital effects to seamlessly go into realist filmmaking. It's not films about blue animals and things. It's real, and it feels real when you're in it because it's masked so well that you don't realise it's digital. Like the scene where Tusky, Mark Ruffalo's character, arrives at the killing of the taxi driver, and he walks up the street and all that is fake. All the street that you can see in the background isn't real, and it just looks so real. It's the taxi driver, and he walks up the street and all that is fake. All the street that you can see in the background isn't real, and it just looks so real. It's amazing. You know, all of that, I mean, it's just absolutely brilliant. And one of the other things I like about this movie that I don't think gets mentioned enough is a sense of it's got a very good sense of itself and its setting and its tone and its world. You know, a lot of the times people talk about movies having a feel of a different world. You know, Avatar has a feeling of a totally different world. I actually think Zodiac has a feeling of a world. I get this great feeling of and it was said on actually the review of At the Movies did as well of the film. You get this idea of bad guy isn't particularly the killer. Obviously it's the killer, but it's more this sense of danger and threat and paranoia that takes the whole city. And I think you get this idea of this city, you know, brought to its knees, and you get this idea of things going on that you don't see. Like, you feel like the killer's out there even in scenes where he's not in. He's just constantly there and constantly a threat even when he's not on screen. And I think that's an absolute stroke of genius by David Fincher that managed to keep that tone throughout the film and create that kind of paranoia. Another point I'd like to make, obviously, is just go quickly back to the performances. I honestly think they are just amazing. Just the way Mark Ruffalo was just so good in a cop role that could have been so cliche, but he kept it really interesting. And Downey Jr. as well, really good. And also Jake Gyllenhaal, who played the paranoia side brilliantly. The only one, this is where the re-reviews come in handy. Now, I didn't really have anything bad to say about it the first time round, and I've now got something bad to say about it, and it's very, very minor to me, in a sense, but it is something that did bother me on rewatch. I watched it with a friend, and he brought up a good point, and it was something I actually felt while watching it with him. Whether that was because he wasn't quite enjoying it as much, and sometimes when you watch something with somebody and they aren't quite enjoying it as much, it kind of affects your opinion of it. But he had a point. It does have some pacing issues. Like, all of the murders happen within the first 45 minutes, and then it just does kind of nothing. No murders happen, and I think that kind of does kind of slow the film down a little bit. And I think if they paced the murders out a little better, it would have maybe been a stronger film. But I still think it's an absolutely amazing film. I'm giving it an A+. I would have given it an A+ back then as well. It was an A+ back then. I just didn't post it when I didn't used to post grades. It's an A+ for me, definitely. A masterpiece of a film. Check it out if you haven't seen it. That's Zodiac, directed by David Fincher, and it was released in 2007. Take care, take it easy, and I'll see you later.
Come on. Do it. Do it! Do it! Come on! Do it now!